Well, hey there, sugar. My name's Margaret. I'm 72 years old. Born and raised in a small town right outside of Dallas, Texas. These days, I spend most of my time in my garden, growing tomatoes and sweet peas, and baking pecan pies for the church on Sundays. I live alone now, well, I did, until life took a turn I never saw coming. You see, I thought I'd seen enough in my years on this earth. But what happened a few months ago broke my heart in ways I can't even begin to explain. My own son, my flesh and blood, sold my house without telling me, and I didn't even find out until it was too late. I've lived in that house for over 40 years. Every brick, every creak in the floorboards, every photograph on those walls, they all held memories of my late husband, George. We built that home together back in '82. He laid the porch himself. Said he wanted a place where we could sit every evening, drink sweet tea, and watch the sun melt behind the oaks. When he passed away 12 years ago, I promised myself I'd never leave that house. It was all I had left of him. My son, Jacob, he's my only boy. He's 45 now. Married, with 2 kids of his own. Always been a smart one, a businessman. But lately, he'd been acting different, distant, rushed. He'd come by only when he needed something signed or a quick loan. I thought maybe work was wearing him out, but I was wrong. It started one afternoon in early spring. I remember it so clearly because the bluebonnets were just starting to bloom out by the fence. A man in a black suit knocked on my door. He looked like one of those city folks, neat hair, clipboard in hand, smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. He said, "Mrs. Miller, I'm here to schedule your moving inspection." I laughed. "My, what now?" He blinked. "Your moving inspection, ma'am. The new owners will be taking possession by the end of next month." For a second, I thought it was some kind of mistake. Maybe he had the wrong address. But when he said my full name, my property number, and even mentioned Jacob as the seller, my heart near stopped. "Sold?" I whispered. "What do you mean sold? This house isn't for sale." He gave me that polite smile again. "Ma'am, the papers were finalized 3 weeks ago." I must have stood there frozen for a good minute before slamming the door shut. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely dial Jacob's number. He answered on the 3rd ring. "Hey Mom, everything okay?" "Jacob," I said, trying to steady my voice. "Why is a man at my door saying my house has been sold?" There was silence. The kind of silence that tells you everything before a word is even said. "Mom, listen," he finally said. "It's not what you think." I could hear the nervousness in his tone. "Then tell me what it is. Jacob, did you sell my house?" He sighed. "It's temporary, okay. I had to make a few business adjustments. It's under my name, remember. I just needed to move some assets around for a while. My knees went weak. You put my house, my home, in your name last year because you said it'd make the taxes easier to manage. You said it was just paperwork. Mom, I'll fix it. You won't have to move. It's all handled." But his voice didn't sound like someone who could fix it. It sounded like someone caught in a web of his own lies. That night, I didn't sleep. I walked around my house, touching the walls, the old dining table, the curtains I sewed myself when Jacob was still a boy. I felt like everything around me was already slipping away. By morning, I called my old friend Martha. She's been my neighbor for decades. She came over, sat me down, and we called the county office. The lady on the phone confirmed it. The house had been sold, officially transferred, signed by my son 2 weeks ago, and the buyers, a company, a real estate firm out of Austin. They bought up half the block. My home was next in line to be demolished. I don't remember how long I cried that day. When Jacob finally showed up that evening, I didn't even recognize him. His face looked worn, tired, guilty, ... "Mom, please, just let me explain," he said, setting his briefcase down. "You lied to me, Jacob," I whispered. You looked me in the eyes and told me you'd handle the paperwork. You promised me this house was safe. He rubbed his temples. I didn't have a choice. I had debts, Mom. The business went bad. I thought I could fix it before you ever found out. The market was hot, and I thought I'd buy it back once things turned around. Buy it back, I snapped. You think I care about property, Jacob? This is my life. This is where your father died. This is where you took your first steps. You sold our memories for your mistakes. He just stood there, staring at the floor. I wanted to hate him, but seeing the tears in his eyes, I couldn't. Weeks went by, and every day felt heavier. The new owners sent me notices to vacate. I kept ignoring them, hoping maybe Jacob would fix it, like he promised. But deep down, I knew. One morning, I woke up to the sound of men talking outside. Construction trucks. They were surveying the property. That was the moment I realized I was about to lose everything. I walked out, trembling, and begged them to wait. One of the workers, bless his heart, said they couldn't do anything until the final inspection. I had maybe 2 weeks left. 2 weeks to say goodbye to 40 years of life. During that time, Jacob barely came around. I think he was too ashamed, or maybe he didn't know what to say anymore. But one night, he showed up unexpectedly. His eyes were red, and he looked like he hadn't slept in days. He held an envelope in his hand. Mom, he said softly, I sold my car. I got some money. It's not much, but maybe we can find you a small place nearby. I looked at him, heartbroken. You think I care about another house? Jacob, I wanted you. I wanted my son to be honest with me. He sat down and started crying, really crying, like he hadn't since he was a child. That night, we talked for hours. I told him stories about his father, about how hard we worked to keep that home. He told me how scared he was of failing, how he didn't want me to see him as a disappointment, and for the first time in a long time, I saw the little boy I raised, not the man who broke my trust. 2 weeks later, I packed my things. Just a few boxes, some clothes, photos, and Georgia's old watch. I stood on that porch one last time, feeling the evening wind brush against my face. When the moving truck pulled away, I watched my house shrink in the rearview mirror until it was just a speck. I moved into a small apartment downtown. It's not much, 1 bedroom, tiny kitchen, but it's mine. Every Sunday, I still bake pecan pies and take one over to Martha. She keeps me company, and we sit by the window talking about the old days. Jacob visits me now every weekend. He's been working hard to make things right. He helped repaint my apartment, hung up my old photos, and even built a little wooden shelf for Georgia's watch. I forgave him not because he deserved it right away, but because I couldn't carry that anger forever. But sometimes, when I close my eyes at night, I can still hear the creak of that old floorboard by the kitchen, the one George always meant to fix but never did. I can see the way the sunset used to spill through the living room window, painting everything gold. That house may be gone, but those memories, they're still mine. You know, people think losing a home is just about losing walls and a roof, but it's more than that. It's losing a piece of your soul. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that no matter how much people hurt you, family or not, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means letting go, so your heart can finally breathe again. So, yeah, sugar. That's my story. I found out my own son sold my house without telling me, and it broke me. But it also reminded me that love, real love, isn't about things you own. It's about what you hold in your heart. I may have lost a house, but I didn't lose my son. And in the end, maybe that's what truly matters. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. And let me know in the comments where you're listening from.